What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Jeremy's Point of View. Here in today's video, I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to give you guys the recipe that I have found as far as going through the internet and trying out a bunch of these. This is the one that I found that seems to work the best to make old school 1980s, 1990s high-C Ecto Cooler. For those of you that grew up in that time frame like myself, you guys probably remember those delicious little juice boxes with the Hi-C Ecto Cooler Punch that were absolutely fantastic. They did bring it back a few years ago for the 2016 Ghostbusters movie, but it didn't quite taste like that old school blend. It had a little bit of a different flavor to it that you could tell they tweaked with the recipe a bit. So I looked at a bunch of different recipes that people have come up with on the internet, and I found one that is super simple and is probably the closest as far as taste that I could find. Now I'm going to preface this with it's been about 20 years since I've had the original. I did try that 2016 version and it was decent, but it felt a bit watered down as far as the flavor. So it's been a long time since I've had this stuff. But as soon as I made it and tasted it, it really did bring me back to, my childhood and when I used to drink those things like a fiend. So let's go ahead, let's dive into this. I'll show you guys how to make it. And before we do, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out the description box below. You guys can find my Teespring store. You can also find today's sponsor, which is Arcadian. Arcadian makes fantastic quality bath bombs, beard oils, goat's milk soap, body sprays, tons of products on the page, and there's a men's line and a women's line. And if you use my code JeremyPOV10, you will save 10% off your order today. So let's go ahead and dive into this. So here we are. We are going to make a simple Ecto Cooler Punch recipe, basically. This is the closest thing I've found as far as trying recipes out that I've found online when it comes to really replicating the old 1980s, 90s Hi-C Ecto Cooler. And we only need 2 ingredients, which is what makes this recipe that much more easy and that much more fantastic. So as you guys can see, we've got Tampico Citrus Punch. A lot of Walmarts carry this. Some other stores do. Down here in North Carolina, I managed to get this at a Publix. And also we need Minute Maid lemonade, which is carried in a bunch of places. And then all we need to do is measure out, and we're going to create a glass here. Now, I've already made a big batch of this, and the recipe is 4 parts Tampico Citrus Punch to 1 part Minute Maid lemonade. So I made a big batch where I did 4 cups of that, 1 cup of that, and for the sake of this video, we're going to make a glass of the stuff right here, right now. So let's go ahead, and first thing I'm going to do is grab the Tampico Punch, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 cup Tampico. Let's go ahead and see if we can measure this bad boy out. So we've got just about a cup there. We're going to go ahead and pour that here into the glass. And then for the sake of just making 1 glass, 1 part Minute Maid lemonade. There we go. So for the sake of this, we've got 1 cup of that, so that means we would do 1/4 of a cup of the Minute Maid lemonade. I'm going to go ahead, pour that into the cup here. And then I'm going to grab myself a spoon and mix this up. Now, traditionally, if you really want to make this Ecto Cooler, you would get some liquid green dye, food coloring, and throw it in there and really make it, Ecto Coolery. But for the sake of this, let's go ahead and we're going to have a swig here. That is delicious. Now, I will say, making it here in a smaller batch, I'm tasting the lemonade a lot more. I find that for your preference, you can tweak the recipe a bit, but definitely stick with at least the starting point of 4 parts Tampico to 1 part Minute Maid lemonade. And then from there, it's just deciding on if you want to cut back maybe on the lemonade on the next batch, or if you want to add a little bit more to give you a little bit more of that lemonade flavor, that tang that the lemonade adds to the already delicious Tampico Citrus Punch. But you guys, that is a simple, easy recipe to make Ecto Cooler, and To me, I've tried a bunch of these from on the internet, and this is the closest thing I have found to replicating the Ecto Cooler. So thank you guys for checking out today's video.
Darling came in my dreams again. She laid with me in my bed, but I woke in an empty room. Realized my dreams